Alright guys, I'm back for another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to spray the calipers on your car. Ideally you should get them powder coated, but I won't be able to do that right now because my friend who I'm waiting on to get his powder coating business set up will only be set up in April. So for the meanwhile I'm just going to spray them. I've done this before on many of them on the cars and it's looked just as good and lasted just as long. Everybody has their own way of doing it. Some people use heat temp paint and all that. But personally, I don't think it's needed. Heat temp paint you would use for the engine or for an exhaust, but for calipers, like, they don't get me wrong, they do get hot. But unless you're tracking the car and it's consistent heat, it'll be fine as long as you have a good layer of paint on there and a good quality spray paint that you bought. You should be fine. So these are the calipers we're going to be spraying today. They are of a 95 GCA WRX. The reason why I'm doing this is because when I bought my car came with drums. If you have 1.6 Impreza, as standard they come with drums. Obviously if I'm going to track the car and put bigger power in the car, I need to upgrade the brakes, need to stop somehow. So I've got these to go in the car. There are my calipers, there are my hubs. As you can see here, it has everything, it just needs to bolt up. This is the cable for my handbrake, and here's the shoes. There are the discs. Now the reason why I sprayed the discs is because they're a bit rusty and corroded, so I've cleaned them all off. I've sprayed them white, so when I put them on the car here, when I start braking, will be cleared off and just be a normal disc, but here will stay white, so it'll add to the effect. I don't want to put something that was all rusty and shitty looking on the car. Here are the calipers. Today we're basically just going to respray them. They're really green. I've already started this process. I've done about 2 layers. What I've done first is I got the calipers, I've cleared them all off so they're smooth on both surfaces. Then after that I went and I dried them, heated them up with a hairdryer. Then I went and I sprayed a white. I use this gloss white here because I find if I use this gloss white, it brings out the green in the paint. Then I went and I sprayed 1 or 2 layers of paint on it just to see what it would look like and if it would stick. Right now we're just gonna basically keep spraying more of it to just get it the same color as my front calipers on the car. Then after that we're going to take the clear coat, just some of this, and just clear it. One thing I recommend though, if you do this with just normal paint like what I'm doing, you have to spray it until the whole can is gone. 1 or 2 coats is not going to last, it's just going to peel. After that you're going to have to spray it with the whole can of this and then clear it with nearly a whole can of clear. Let it dry, let it sit, just let it cure basically. The easiest way to do that is get yourself a hairdryer or any type of heat gun and just kind of dry it slowly. Now we're going to be spraying these now. What I would do is get your spray and heat it up with some, basically a hairdryer, heat gun, whatever, just to get the spray a bit warmer. I've already done this, and then just basically apply light coats, lightly spray it all over the calipers. You do not want to stay in one spot for too long because you will put too much paint on it then, and by doing that you will just get runs in your paint. Just gently spray. After doing this for a little bit, make sure you got full coverage. You're just going to leave it. You're going to let it sit. You're going to get your hair dryer and you're just going to let it dry. You do not want to put too much paint. You do not want to put too much paint onto the calipers at one time. By doing this, you're just going to get runs and everything in the paint and it'll just look shit. Now I'm going to go with the hair dryer. I'm going to spray it a few more times and I'll come back and I'll show you the finished product. Alright, so I've sprayed about 5 coats onto these now. I reckon this should be enough. This is what the coats look like, or even coverage, full coverage of the whole caliper. Now I've taken the heat gun. After every pass of my spraying, I've went and I've heated it up, I've let it dry, I've let it sit. Now I'm going to go with my clear, which I've got here. I'm just going to clear it about 4 or 5 times until I feel that it's sufficient. Then after that I'll come back, I'll show you guys the end product and you guys can decide for yourselves if it's good or not. Okay, so I've finished spraying the calipers. As you can see, a nice glossy finish. I really like it. Let me know what you guys think. if you guys do it this way. If you guys do it a different way, put it down in the comments. I'd love to know how a better way, if there is an easier way of how to do it. Now you might be asking yourselves, why did I leave the pads in? The reason for this is because when you're spraying your calipers, you do not want to try and get paint into where the slider is. If you get paint in there, there's a good chance you could just ruin the seal between the slider and the actual caliper. So that's the only reason I kept the pads in. They'll be getting replaced anyway, but as for the finished product, I've got what I'm looking for, and now I'm just to wait for it to dry fully. It's tacky now at the minute, so this will be the finish that I'll get. They do match the front calipers on the car. If you go back to my previous video, you can see that. Tell me what you guys think, if you like it. And if you don't like it, thanks. Like, comment, subscribe.